Things are changing fast and good carriers are gonna start getting rewarded. Listen up, if you are a company driver, lease operator, owner operator, if you are working for a trucking company, this is very important information. Things are about to change for all of us. This new ruling from the Supreme Court against C.H. Robinson is definitely going to shake things up in our industry. So let's get into it. First, we're gonna talk a little bit about what's happening in our industry after this Supreme Court ruling happened. So basically, trucking company got hired by C.H. Robinson. That trucking company had a bad safety rating, got into an accident, somebody was injured. That person who was injured, not only did he sue the trucking company, but he also sued C.H. Robinson. But then this lawsuit carried all the way into the Supreme Court, where 9 judges ruled, and all 9 said that yes, C.H. Robinson was liable. Now, how does this affect you company drivers, owner operators, and lease operators? Well, very, very simple. So C.H. Robinson now, from the little that I see, is starting to cut their carrier database. With their thousands and thousands of carriers there, they're probably matching up with the SAFER or FMCSA to see who has a safety rating and what kind of safety rating, and reassessing what is the threshold that they're willing to hire a carrier, okay? Now, not only them, but I think our entire industry is doing this. Why? Because if I have a brokerage department, which I do here at ET Transport, and that brokerage department hires a carrier that has a bad safety rating, now I could be dragged into this lawsuit because of this case against C.H. Robinson. So let's quickly have a look and I'll explain to you what I mean by this. So here I am on the load board, okay? And I just opened up a carrier here. Now my load board is directly connected to the FMCSA, so I can see this, and all my freight brokers can see this information right on our load boards before we book loads. Now I can see that this carrier over here has, in the red or in the yellow, hours of service is flashing and vehicle maintenance is flashing. Now this trucking company has 40 power units, okay? Now if any one of my freight brokers hires this company and something happens with the equipment, imagine this trucking company has vehicle maintenance flashing, 75%, that's pretty high. So in a case of a tire blowout, brake failure, steering loss, imagine a hitch separation, anything that happens on the road that's going to get another party involved right away, this company is getting dragged into the lawsuit. On top of that, it's the freight broker that coordinated the shipment is also getting dragged into the lawsuit. So in order to avoid these situations, all brokerages right now are starting to reassess how they broker out freight, which means freight rates are going to get more expensive. Trucking companies that have good safety scores are going to be harder to come across. So here is a trucking company that has hours of service flashing. Now, anything that happens on the road with this carrier, the freight broker that is using this carrier is going to get dragged into a lawsuit. Why? Because for them, it's hours of service. And hours of service can mean that the driver fatigue, going over their hours. I don't know, but I can tell you that in a lawsuit, they're going to pick this company apart with every single one of their violations. Even small incidents are going to be magnified. So a lawsuit that would have been a $50,000 or $100,000 lawsuit, they're going to be suing for $1 million. Why? Because they know that the trucking company is on the line and the freight broker that hired the trucking company is definitely on the line. So things are going to be shifting and changing very, very fast. Now, how does this affect you truck drivers out there? If you are working for a trucking company that does not have a clean record, the freight might come down, the volume of freight might come down. Freight brokers might choose not to work with that trucking company. How else are you gonna get affected? So if you're in the US or if you are in a certain destination trying to come back home, it might be harder for you to get home. So you might experience delays between loads, you might experience layovers and waiting times excessive until you're gonna get fed up with it and say, you know what? I'm gonna go find another company that has a much better safety rating. Now, for those of you out there that are looking or in search of a new job, I highly recommend that you try out this new technology in our industry called DriverRoll. Now, what this is, it's a matching service. So basically it takes you 30 seconds to upload your profile and get matched with the highest paying jobs right now in our industry. And this is just for the trucking company, whether you're a company driver or owner operator, or if you just want to play around with the system and see what kind of rates there are out there. I can assure you that there are jobs that are paying 70, 80, and 90 cents per mile out there. You just need to find the right ones. And this AI technology is definitely going to help you match you with the next job out there. So this is not going to just affect the small guys, even the bigger guys. I think it's going to affect them even more, because when you have 90 or 100 or 150 power units and your record is not flawless, you freight brokers are opening up a can of worms by using these trucking companies that have a bad safety score. And there's going to be a lot more verdicts just like the C.H. Robinson one. I truly believe that a lot more freight brokers are going to get dragged into lawsuits, not just freight brokers, also manufacturing plants. So if a manufacturing plant used a freight broker used a bad carrier, or not even a bad carrier, a carrier that has something wrong with their safety scores, that carrier gets into an accident, it will come back all the way to the manufacturing plant, because the person who's going to get injured is not just going to sue the trucking company, they're going to sue the freight broker, and they're going to drag the manufacturing plant into the equation. So for you guys out there, drivers, owner operators, lease operators, manufacturing plants, I highly recommend you vet your carriers properly and make sure you're using a carrier that has a flawless safety record, okay? So I want you guys all to know that this is already in effect. So I did stumble across an article and a posting that somebody posted on X where it says C.H. Robinson is referring me to the FMCSA in order to raise my safety score before they can work with me and a lot of other carriers again. C.H. Robinson just disabled access to their load boards. I don't know if it's just me or something related to the lawsuit. I think they are going to get real strict with who gets access. Big house cleaning incoming. That's right. So it's not just C.H. Robinson that's cleaning up house right now. I truly believe that after this lawsuit, everything is going to change for everyone. Just make sure that you are with the carrier that has a flawless safety record. Are all freight brokerages going to be cleaning up house right now? I'd love to hear some of your feedback. I'm Ronen, and I'll catch you in my next video.